I want to thank everyone here for coming, giving me and all of us the association of Vaishnavas, revering, showing their love, showing their affection for Srila Prabhupada. All of us have received unforgettable and unbelievable benefits. I'm no different. From the moment that I met Srila Prabhupada in person, and he spoke to me and asked me a few questions, he knew I had come from the impersonal school, and I had been there for 18 years, and that I had been preaching that philosophy for a while. So he asked me a very pointed question. He said, "What did you get out of all that? What was the meaning of this philosophy?" And I stood there staring at Srila Prabhupada and said, even to this day, I don't even know what that was all about. All I did is talk, and 18 years was finally gone. And you know why? Because you came. And I began to hear your talks. And your talks were so wondrous, so beautiful, so lovable, so adorable, so wonderful. And from that day on, my day, my life, my everything changed. And it never stopped changing, and it's still changing to this very moment. Because I have all of you in my life, and that has made a magnificent difference. Because that difference means that I have an opportunity, a possibility to attain pure love of God. And I want to thank you all for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. May you all achieve pure love of God. May we all go together and chant Hare Krishna in the spiritual world. Thank you very much.
Krishna, thank you. His Holiness Radha Raman Maharaj, please.
Oh, yeah. Too late, sir.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्रील प्रभुपाद. Today, of course, yesterday we celebrate Krishna Janmashtami, and today we are celebrating Prabhupada Appearance Day. Of course, we know Krishna appeared in midnight, and same night he was transferred to Gokul, Nanda Baba. Actually, Nanda Baba celebrated Krishna Janmashtami today. This is the time Nanda Baba must be celebrating Nandotsav. So Prabhupada appeared this particular auspicious day. In Srimad Bhagavatam and Vedic literature description that Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarve guna tatra samasate sura. If someone becomes devotee, then all good quality resides in that personality. So Prabhupada ji was like he was reservoir house, reservoir place of unlimited, infinite quality, many thousand, millions of good quality. However, out of those good quality, I would like to mention one, just my presentation, one good quality, sublime quality as most glorious quality of Srila Prabhupada. So for that, I will say some little story and about Prabhupada purport also. We know Dhruv Maharaj performed a streetage bhajan in Vrindavan, Madhuban. Madhuban is one of 12 forests of Vrindavan. He did his austerities and he was able to see face to face Krishna, Vishnu. Then he returned back. He ruled the kingdom for 36 years, 36,000 years. And again he went towards the India. He went to Badrikashram. And right on the bank of Alaknanda Ganga, he was performing a street bhajan. One day, direct from Vaikuntha, Vishnu sent him, Krishna sent him an airplane by one. He landed right in front of Dhruv Maharaj. And Nanda and Sunanda, two associates of Vishnu, they have brought the airplane. They welcome, they requested Dhruv Maharaj, now you board in the plane and you are directly supposed to go to Vaikuntha. And then at that point, Dhruv Maharaj took bath wholly deep in Alaknanda, Ganga river. And then offer options with all the saintly persons residing there, elderly sadhus. And eventually he boarded on the plane. So plane was about to take off, everything was ready. At that point, associates of Vishnu, Nand or Sunand, they saw that Dhruv Maharaj become dejected, whole body, sore, very anxiety was visible in her face. Then those associates asked, Dhruv Maharaj, this is time for jubilation, very auspicious time to you are personally entering the Vaikuntha planet. What could be reason for your sorrow? You look so dejected. And then Dhruv Maharaj, this part Prabhupada talks about. Dhruv Maharaj expressed that how I could go Vaikuntha planet alone, leaving my poor mother, helpless mother behind in this material world. She first gave the clue that reason why by her mercy I am fortunate enough to directly with this same body entering Vaikuntha. So leaving behind her, I don't feel comfortable. I feel very pity for my mother, Suniti. And at that point, the Sunanda, they pointed, Dhruv Maharaj, you don't see one plane is going ahead of you on the sky. Dhruv Maharaj looked there. Your mother is already seated in the plane and he ahead of you, she is going Vaikuntha planet. And this part Prabhupada writes in pastime of Dhruv Maharaj. I wanted to say that, then Prabhupada writes in purport. This point I wanted to mention. The Krishna consciousness movement is spreading all over the world. And sometimes I think, Prabhupada writing directly in purport, sometimes I think I am crippled in so many ways. But if one of my disciples, I have initiated thousands of disciples, if one of my disciples, if he will perform a city, he will be strong enough, like Dhruv Maharaj, then he will carry me along with him to the Vaikuntha planet. Like Dhruv Maharaj did bhajan, mother was not so, she has not performed severe austerity of finances. Still she entered in spiritual planet because Dhruv Maharaj performed austerity of bhajan. So similarly, I will, if one of my disciples is strong enough in bhajan, then he will be able to carry me with him to Vaikuntha planet. Is this right? So this depicts the humble humility of Prabhupada. Though he was topmost preacher, of course the world history has not seen that type of glorious preacher who have preached Krishna consciousness all over the world. But same Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of our society, Krishna Consciousness, International Society for Krishna, he says that if someone, my disciple, will be strong enough, then that my disciple will be able to carry me with him to Vaikuntha planet. Though I am crippled in many ways. So that point I mentioned. So Prabhupada says, he was like personification, avatar, incarnation, or embodiment of all good quality, especially humility, namrata. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Thank you, Maharaj. David Ahiti, Mataji.
My dear Srila Prabhupada, another year has passed since our last celebration of your glorious birth. The new Dwarka community comes together to celebrate this auspicious occasion. We just hosted a wonderful Rath Yatra which attracted thousands and by your grace distributes so much mercy. You are always with us, directing and managing the show. So many sincere devotees carrying out your orders in such grace and style. So proud to walk among them. You have given us everything. Thank you for establishing these great temples which house your lordships. So grateful for the life you have given us. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for being my guiding light. My prayer on this day is to please engage me in your service. How can I repay your mercy? How can I be worthy? Only by your causeless mercy can one attain devotional service. So on this day, all my memories and pastimes when you were on this planet play out in my mind to be never lost. Your words are so strong, it carries us daily. All we have to do is follow your process. Only with your help it is possible. We honor you and pray to serve you eternally. Your servant David Ahiti. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Now we'll ask Suvas Prabhu to speak.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I did write a little offering this year. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. Today, on this most blessed occasion of your Vyas Puja, we come together to offer homage to you and to also praise your amazing accomplishments and unlimited glories. We remind ourselves that to truly worship you is to follow your instructions in preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You gave us a process of how to fix up our minds on Krishna. You said, quote, how to become fixed in Krishna consciousness, that art will be given to you by the spiritual master, end of quote. You then quoted Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur saying, quote, Vyasyatmika buddhi means to take the words of the spiritual master as our life and soul. I don't care for liberation. My only business is to serve my spiritual master, end of quote. Srila Prabhupada, you personally demonstrated that by maintaining firm faith and conviction in the order of the spiritual master, you were successful in spreading Lord Chaitanya's message all over the world. Once you were asked if you can perform miracles, and you replied that we are your miracles. You have done what no one else was able to do, and that was giving us devotional service and chanting of the holy names. Srila Prabhupada, you are certainly performing the highest welfare work for all humanity through your books, kirtan, and your lectures. There's practically nowhere in the whole world where they have not heard about Krishna. Almost every country in the world has received your books. You came to the West because of the instruction of your guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, and to preach the message of the most munificent Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You wanted us to go to every town and village and give Krishna prema to everyone we meet. We felt that you were our general in the war against Maya and a pure messenger of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Prabhupada, you wrote, quote, the instruction is that a devotee must know what Krishna wants him to do. The understanding from the medium of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna. One must take shelter of a spiritual master who comes in disciplic succession from Krishna. Without that, one cannot find out the real purpose of devotional service. End of quote. Here in New Dwarka, we feel your presence every day when we see your form on the Vyasasan and the ecstatic Guru Puja Kirtan. Going to visit you upstairs in your personal quarters and seeing your murti with the dictaphone mic in your hand makes me remember the karate studio in the alley by the temple and the noises that they would make while you were meeting with devotees. Your beloved Sri Sri Rukmini Dwarkadish are well taken care of, and the pujaris are becoming more expert in dressing our lords gorgeously. The whole temple becomes ecstatic, and the kirtans are beautiful when they see the ecstatic form of Sri Sri Rukmini Dwarkadish. We preserved your favorite sitting place in your garden with a very nice Singhasan and a beautiful picture of you sitting comfortably on your pillows. The book distribution has been very steady, with very dedicated devotees going out daily, and the scores have increased exponentially through the years. Our festivals bring life to the temple, and thousands attend the annual Rath Yatra festival. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Without you taking the risks of traveling all over the world and distributing the Maha Mantra, we would never have known the blissful chanting and dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. Your servants Savas Das and Tarit Dasi. Srila Prabhupada Gizad.
Savas Prabhu Jagadanani Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, my dear spiritual master, my bright guiding light. Srila Prabhupada, you have so kindly helped unlimited souls with your deep compassion and dedication to your beloved Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. How can we possibly thank you enough or even try to repay you? You asked us to please cooperate with each other, and although there are sometimes issues, there are many, many more transcendental miracles happening every day. When we hear the book scores, we are sometimes astonished at how many books are going out. There are so many amazing devotees carrying out your heart's desire to distribute books all over the world. I am beyond grateful every single day that I get to live in your temple with your dear devotees. I remember as a little girl feeling very confused and frightened with life in this world. Nothing seemed to make sense, so I tried not to think about it. Ignorance is bliss, so they say. But Srila Prabhupada, somehow or other, I have received this topmost mercy to be in your Krishna consciousness movement, and I pray to always love and serve you. Since I have had you in my life, I have not had the confusion and fear I felt as a child. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your servant and daughter, Jagat Janani Dasi.
Sorry for the delay. We have some presentations to put on the screen, a little bit of technical difficulty. We'd like to ask Brigapati Prabhu at this time to speak.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitya Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaudavani Pacharane Nirvashesha Sunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarne. So in 1972, here in Los Angeles, probably right up there in his quarters there, Prabhupada met with a favorable musician. His name was John Fahey. And so Prabhupada, when they were introduced, very quickly into the conversation, Prabhupada asked him, so do you understand our philosophy? So he said, I don't know if I understand it. I'm reading it. Prabhupada said, what is your philosophy? He goes, I don't know. Prabhupada said, no philosophy of life? Why are you living? And he goes, I don't know. I was just born. Prabhupada says, born, everyone is born. Cats and dogs are born. They also live, they also die. So if we live like that, I was born, let me live somewhere and die, then what is the difference? The musician is none. Prabhupada says, there is difference. That one should understand there is difference. A man should not live like cats and dogs because he has got a mission. And he goes, mission? Prabhupada says, mission. The mission is God realization. Cats and dogs cannot do it. Human being can do it. Therefore, in any civilized human society, there is type of religion. Maybe Christianism, Mohammedanism, or Hinduism, or Buddhism, but you cannot find this religious system in the animal's life. That is the difference. If you give up this religious consciousness or God consciousness, then we are as good as cats and dogs. That is the only difference. You go anywhere, any part of the world, civilized human being, they have got a system, which you may call religion or philosophy, to understand God. That prerogative is especially for the human being. But if you do not care for that special prerogative, then you are as good as animal. What is the difference between animal and human being unless he has got some method of understanding God? The animals eats and we also eat. The animals sleep, we also sleep. The animal have sex intercourse, we have got that also. They are also afraid of something and we are also afraid of something. then where is the difference? Prabhupada says a human being can understand what is God, what is my relationship with God, what is my duty, and that in that relationship, what is my aim of life? Where shall I go after death? Where from I have come? These questions must be there in the human form of life. Otherwise, we are still in the animal kingdom. So, I was reflecting upon this. I heard it because I'm systematically listening to, Prabhupada's audio. And then it kind of hit me, so I went and kind of, read the transcription and thought about it. And I realized, before coming in contact with Prabhupada, I was in that same position, no philosophy of life, and no idea why I was living. I suppose I could have had some, because I was brought up in a Jewish family, so they made some attempt. I'm sure there was some message there, but I didn't get it. But when I came in contact with Prabhupada's books, and then eventually with his movement, his devotees, like that, I got it. Prabhupada enabled me to understand that, the mission of the human form of life. Last night I was, at the Artik, the midnight Artik, and Arjun Gopa happened to be up front there with his two daughters. So as he was leaving, he said to me, "Oh, please bless my daughters, customary thing." So I thought to myself, well, if I had an opportunity to give some advice to his older daughter, who's probably, I guess, about 7 or 8 years old now, what would I say? And I thought, well, I tell her that, just be grateful for everything your parents are doing for you, and just whatever they tell you to do, do it. And then you're guaranteed your life will be successful. So as I was fantasizing that, I immediately realized, well, there's an analogy. There's an analogy there. I thought that's the same thing, in relation to us and Prabhupada. We just have to be grateful for everything that Prabhupada has done for us, and try to do everything he's told us, and our lives are going to be guaranteed successful. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Mini prayer, Mataji, please. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
This is a tribute I wrote for this year, so I thought that would be...
Can you put that microphone closer to you?
Oops. I don't do this every day. Hi. Hare Krishna. Okay, this is a tribute I wrote for the Tributes book for 2023. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to you. You have been described around the world as A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, your ever well-wisher. That phrase describes you exactly. You are devoid of lust, greed, anger, and you are the well-wisher of all beings on this planet. Starting with the little storefront aptly named Matchless Gifts, you have emulated goodness and purity throughout the world through your transcendental connection to the spiritual world. Now, you have the respect of all the sages and demigods throughout the ages. I humbly beg that by your mercy, I may always be connected to that transcendental light which emanates from you and connects all that is good and pure in this world. Hopefully, I will remain your eternal servant. Rukmini Priya.
Omagyanatimarandisya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshulumidham Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada definitely opened my darkened eyes with the torch of knowledge when I first read his article in the BTG that I received in a park on a Sunday afternoon in Dallas, Texas in 1971, whereby it answered all the questions I had internally about who am I and why am I here. And from there, it started. One of the, not favorite, but a significant verse that I found in the Srimad Bhagavatam is in the 5th canto, 18th chapter, 12th verse. And this is the translation of that verse. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? That's the Bhagavatam. So we're talking about qualities, so I'd like to discuss that a little bit. I had it up here. The definition of qualities is where one can distinguish between one individual and another, or subject, where one is superior than the other. So in the purport of this Bhagavatam verse, talking about qualities, it's listed the 26 qualities of a pure devotee. And I'll read them real quickly here. Number 1, he is very kind to everyone. He does not make anyone his enemy. He is truthful. He is equal to everyone. No one can find any fault in him. He is magnanimous. He is mild. He is always clean. He is without possessions. He works for everyone's benefit. He is very peaceful. He is always surrendered to Krishna. He has no material desires. He is very meek. He is steady. He controls his senses. He does not eat more than required. He is not influenced by the Lord's illusory energy. He offers respect to everyone. He does not desire any respect for himself. He is very grave. He is merciful. He is friendly. He is poetic. He is expert, and he is silent. So these are the qualities that we look for in an individual. We're always attracted to individuals who have these qualities to a great degree. Just like we are attracted to Krishna, Krishna means the all-attractive person. And why is he attractive? Because he has qualities, 6 qualities in full. See if I can remember. Strength, knowledge, fame, renunciation, opulence, and he knows everything. Thank you, Archita. So, because of these qualities, we become attracted to Krishna. And if we describe to an individual, well, why do you follow Krishna? Well, he's the all-attractive. Well, what do you mean? Well, he has all these 6 qualities in full. Well, give me an example of a quality that Krishna has. And how do we find that? We read the Krishna book. We read the Bhagavatam, where we can get individual examples of those qualities. When we know those individual examples, then we can develop love for Krishna by knowing those qualities and how they're manifest. So in the same vein, I'd like to focus on one quality, the first quality that's described here of a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is a perfect gentleman. And this quality is that he is very kind. Of the hundreds of devotees that I've interviewed, the major quality that devotees have mentioned to me that stands out for them is the quality of compassion or kindness. So I would like to focus, I've selected 5 stories from the memory series from devotees I've interviewed that describe specific examples how Prabhupada exhibited and showed his quality of kindness. And when we hear these stories, think about the personal interchange that Prabhupada had with a devotee, with the person he was with, and understand that that's a way that we can develop love for Prabhupada, by fully recognizing that he is full of all these 26 qualities. So this
I'll just like to
structure-
interject here, Siddhanta Prabhu. Because there's a large cake to be offered to Prabhupada, we have to have those screens there until
Right.
the cake is offered.
So maybe
So
some of the
everybody may
devotees-
want to slide so they can see the screen. If you're upstairs, you will not be able to see the screen. You may want to come downstairs. This is wonderful offering for Prabhupada. So that I just recommend. If you can't see the screen from where you are now, move your body so you can see the screen. The screen is not going to move.
Is the volume turned up on the TV at all, or on the monitor? It's up all the way? Thank you. Is there any chance that we could get someone who knows where the light switch is to dim the lights in the temple room? Screen's bright? Okay. You've never lied to me before, so I accept that. So, everyone down from up above? Okay.
Interfaith And little Premananda happens to be dressed from head to toe in a sannyasi outfit with a little danda. And I think, what's his mother doing? What is she thinking about? And Prabhupada stops speaking and looks over, and his face turns into a smile from you too. And he says, Maharaj, because his eyes open wide with this. He says, welcome, come. So little Premananda, somehow or other, he starts to clamber over all the people sitting in the room. He's just literally climbing over people to come forward to sit before Srila Prabhupada, who's at his table, and Prabhupada's just beaming at him. And so here comes the sannyasi from his travels, he's returned, and so he sits before Prabhupada, and Prabhupada's just smiling and addressing him, Maharaj. What is your name? Premananda. Premananda Maharaj. He said, take. And he offers him a sweet from there's a tray of sweet balls on the table. And so Premananda, he's sitting there and he puts one. And Prabhupada's just enjoying watching him eating the sweet and the sannyasi with the danda. I think he took another one, a second one as well, and Prabhupada's just enjoying seeing Premananda. And then he continues to address. And the first thing I remember about all this is that when Prabhupada saw Premananda, his whole countenance changed. He was serious and stern one moment, and when Premananda walked into the room, Prabhupada almost became as a child, as Premananda. It was like two children. In the moment, I could literally see a change. Prabhupada transformed into a child, and then again transformed into the spiritual master and continued explaining to his audience about Krishna consciousness.
So one time in Vrindavan was the time of the mosquitoes. So we all got alert, and we all was told to be very careful, the servant in Prabhupada's quarter, to close perfectly the doors, so we don't want the mosquitoes attack Srila Prabhupada. So one time, I have to be so careful. So one time, I am coming. So for those who know Srila Prabhupada quarter, many of you, I am coming from the little kitchen by the garden and enter. So on the left there is Srila Prabhupada, and on the right and straight we can go in his darshan. So I am coming. So I am a little after Prabhupada sleeping room, and there come out
Technical difficulties?
Something always goes wrong at the worst moment. Just give us a few minutes to reset. Is it a power issue?
Okay, so are you just rebooting the whole computer? Shamarari? Okay. Well, I would tell her story, but she tells it beautifully. You know, it's firsthand knowledge there. Let's see if I can think of another story about his kindness. Of course, one personally, I remember that the very first thing that I heard from Srila Prabhupada was in a Dallas temple, 1972. and he was giving a lecture after the Sunday feast, or he gave the Sunday feast lecture. And he was speaking about the importance and the benefit of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And afterwards, they opened it up for Q&A. And the first person that asked the question was maybe 10 feet in front of Prabhupada. And he said, somewhat challenging, he said, well, what do you, and he pointed his finger at Prabhupada. He said, what do you feel? What do you feel when you chant Hare Krishna? And within a heartbeat, without hesitation, Prabhupada leaned back in the Vyasasana and said, I feel no fear. So that was the act of kindness to everyone in the room, but especially me, because I was always in a state of fear. And then the immediacy and the potency in which he spoke those words, I feel no fear, went into my heart. I didn't have to think about it. And I knew that was the absolute truth. And that the other realization I had was that out of his kindness, by speaking so immediate and with such conviction, that I knew that he and Krishna were like this. Are you ready? No, sorry. Okay. Well, I'll tell her story and then we can fast forward if we get back up and running. So, the other thing personally about Prabhupada's kindness to me was on a morning walk in Denver, 1975 in July, late July. He was on a morning walk at the park in Denver, and I had a question in my mind I wanted to ask him about Sankirtan, or the responses I was getting when I was distributing Prabhupada's books in the airport and in parking lots. And the general comment that I was getting from the general public was, well, why don't you get a job? Why are you asking for money? Why do you want money? You're just escaping the material world. That's all you're doing. And I didn't know how to respond to that, to them or to myself, actually. So I mentioned that to Prabhupada on the morning walk. And out of his kindness, he spent, I'd say, 70 or 80% of that walk answering my question. Or other times, other stories that I've interviewed devotees, sometimes they'll say, Prabhupada will say, you're not reading my books? You have not read the Bhagavad Gita? But for me, he was gentle, and he answered very kindly. One of the famous stories in his response to my query about how to respond is that we were escaping the material world was the story about the mouse, Ajatavritti, the mouse and the snake. The mouse, he digs a hole in the ground and he lives there comfortably. And then along comes the snake and he eats the mouse and he lives comfortably in the house that the mouse had built. So Prabhupada was talking about lazy intelligence. That came up in that morning walk. And he said, the businessman, he owns a factory, he employs 100 people and he's out playing golf. Is that lazy? Is he escaping? No, that's intelligence. That he's employing everyone else to do the work. That's lazy intelligence. That's not escaping. George Harrison donated his Bhaktivedanta Manor to the devotees. That's intelligent. We didn't raise money to buy the house. Krishna provided George Harrison to give that to the devotees. So that's intelligence. So Kishori here is explaining about a time that she was in Vrindavan and she was concerned, or she was told by the devotees, especially Hari Sari, who was the Prabhupada servant at the time, to make sure you close the doors, close the screen doors, otherwise mosquitoes will come in and bite Srila Prabhupada. Are we getting close? You see her? Can you fast forward on the timeline there? We're getting close. That was a good story, right? Prabhupada's kindness even to a child.
the doors, so we don't want the mosquitoes attached to their Prabhupada. One time, I was so careful. So one time, I am coming. So for those who know Srila Prabhupada quarters, many of you, I am coming from his little kitchen by garden and under. So on the left there is Srila Prabhupada, and on the right and back and go in his afternoon. So after coming, so there the people asked for Prabhupada still to out of the ground.
Skipping? Shamarari, what's happening?
Scream like, what are you doing? So I'm sorry, block me to go. And he started to scream at me. What are you doing? Let the coach from that door. You want Prabhupada to be a mosquito? So that's close to the door. Spot on the mosquito. And he opened the gate with him. He found screaming over, screaming at me. I'm trying to do that step out to and it's close. To get it, and people hand, such a strong like not on my side, on my hip. One hand is catching my hip, but so strong, and pull me like this. And who is that? And he come in front of me like this. He put me behind him, and he went to answer. So what now? Why are you speaking to her like this? What is this? You should not speak like this to her.
Should we stop this video? I think
You always defend the poor. The one who are,
Oh, yeah, no, you should have downloaded it.
you know, who they are. It's much.
Okay, let's just stop. Next time we'll download it. So, did everyone get the point of that kindness that Prabhupada exhibited there? So we had kindness to a child, kindness to a woman, always defending, always looking out. And I'll tell one last one that Madhavisa tells on this video. I'm sorry. I can't tell it as well as Madhavisa Prabhu tells it, but there was a time, well, Madhavisa was a Swami for many years and led the Australian Yatra. Great kirtan leader, great devotee, very Prabhupada conscious, very devoted to Srila Prabhupada. But there came a time where he decided that he could no longer follow that ashram. And this was, I think, in 1977, where Prabhupada asked, and before, so he got married. Madhavisa got married, went to Hawaii, and left his position as a sannyasi and leader within the Australian Yatra for about a year. And at that time, his wife was pregnant. And Srila Prabhupada asked him and Shruti Kirti to come back to India. And by that time, Madhavisa had grown his hair out and become hippie-ish looking. And Shruti Kirti and Madhavisa went back to India, and Madhavisa decided or realized that maybe coming in front of Prabhupada, he shouldn't have such a long hair, and so he went in the train station, and they have barbers there, right? They can shave you up right there on the street. So he shaved up, and consequently had a very long sika because his hair was very long. And he was a little embarrassed, and feeling that he had left the movement, and he left his ashram, his sannyasa ashram, but he still wanted to see Prabhupada, but he was embarrassed to see Prabhupada. First thing, when he comes into the room where Prabhupada is, Prabhupada sees him. He says, "Oh, Madhavisa, he's keeping such a nice long sika." Act of kindness. Whereas he could have blasted him, "Why did you leave the movement? Why did you leave your sannyasa ashram?" No, very loving and kind. You have such a nice long sika. And then he said, yes, Prabhupada said, "And how's your wife? Where's your wife?" Madhavisa said, "Well, Srila Prabhupada, she's pregnant now. She's 5-6 months pregnant." Prabhupada, "Oh yes, she shouldn't travel. That's not good for a pregnant woman." He wasn't criticizing the change of ashram, or that he had a wife, or that he was going to have a child. He was compassionate, very kind. And Madhavisa explains how Prabhupada was talking about the story about the alligator and the elephant. How if we're situated improperly, if we're not properly situated in our ashram, then we can't perform our service properly. So he said, yes, whatever ashram you are, whatever you're inclined to, do your service nicely. So that is an example of Prabhupada and his kindness. One of many. So I've taken up too much time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Haribol. In spite of the technical difficulties, that was a wonderful presentation. We should all take this opportunity, because we're getting on in age, who knows if we'll all be here next year, to thank Siddhanta Prabhu for all those wonderful memories series that he did. Everybody, a big Haribol for Siddhanta Prabhu. Haribol. Hare Krishna. So, Mother Brajarani. All right, so. Yeah.
Please accept my humble obeisances to the dust of your lotus feet, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for Sarchita Prabhu for giving me this opportunity. It's not very easy to speak about Prabhupada or glorify Prabhupada. I feel very unqualified to do that. I know Bhakti True Maharaj always used to say, like, Srila Prabhupada, when the mountain is so close to us, it's difficult to see the greatness of the mountain. And we are just like, he said, we're so close to Prabhupada, sometimes it's so difficult to see how great he is, and it's difficult to express that. And I've had the good opportunity to be with Prabhupada physically, and to have Prabhupada's books, and I can't imagine my life without that. I can't imagine how anyone can live without that. And the temples and the morning programs that Prabhupada has given us, the association, is just invaluable treasure, and I feel sometimes bereft of it now, and it's like such a deep feeling of like how valuable it is when you're away from the devotees and the temple. I just wanted to, there's one song that really connects with me in terms of offering to Srila Prabhupada. It's the Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, and those words really, really connect with me, and I just wanted to offer those words here. So it says, Gurudev, O spiritual master, give to this servant just one drop of your mercy. I am lower than a blade of grass. Give me all help. Give me strength. Let me be as you are, without desires or aspirations. I offer you all respects, for thus I may have the energy to know you correctly. Then, by chanting the holy name in great ecstasy, all my offenses will cease. When will such mercy fall to this one who is weak and devoid of intelligence? Allow me to be with you, Srila Prabhupada. If you examine me, you will find no good qualities. Your mercy is all that I have and all that I'm made of. If you are not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mother Brajarani. Now we'll have Satyanarayan Prabhu make his presentation.
Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasai Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tanamane Namaste Sarasvate Devi Gauravana Vicharane Nivasesha Shrinivari Pastarade Shitarne. So, Srila Prabhupada, he felt enlivened to hear about, we all know this, the distribution of his books. And sometimes in this most important event, we are meant to glorify Srila Prabhupada in every way. And I think through his book distribution, sometimes we see not only how glorious he is, but the miracles that he is performing. Still, he's still with us. So there have been certain areas of the world which were not and have not really been tended to by ISKCON, just because of their difficulty, and although attempts were made. And like around, I don't know, 25 years ago, the Soviet Union was a place where they had to smuggle books in, and but eventually now there's thousands of Russian devotees. Then came China, which was very difficult to break into. Now there's thousands of Chinese devotees. And it seems that the one area that wasn't even thought to be possible is the Middle East, which really wasn't touched much in about 50 years. And then somehow the mercy of the Supreme Lord and Srila Prabhupada is revealing wonderful miracles in this way. Prabhu, if we could see that first video. This is something that's beginning to happen, and it's interesting, it's happening here in Los Angeles. And you can lower the volume slightly. This is at the Santa Monica Pier. This is a family. It's a mother, a child, her husband, and her mother, the grandmother. And you can see what's happening is they don't really understand exactly what we're chanting, but there's an instantaneous realization that happens over and over again that we are the genuine deliverers of the message of love of God. They're very serious about reaching God. Is it still playing, or? Okay. And so she was asking her husband to give a donation, and the husband spoke to the grandmother, and they bought a book. Did you see that? Okay. And then this next one, the next video. And this woman actually was in such bliss that she was kind of affecting the other Muslims. These are full devout Muslims. And again, this is only due to Srila Prabhupada's mercy that this is finally beginning to happen. Any luck? Like she couldn't leave. And she, someone yelled off screen, "This is Allah," and then she said, "Allah, Allah." It was they were praising God. So I think this is a miracle, and now finally we have these Arabic books. And it's all kind of impossible to even imagine it can happen, especially as our team in Lebanon, which is, the whole country's falling apart, but they have a yoga studio there, and the Arabs are singing. And now we've, by Krishna's mercy, Prabhupada's mercy, about 250,000 Arabic books have been sold around the world. Yes, it's worth a Haribo. And this is in the United States. It's all over the UK, all over Europe, Australia. And it's just the beginning. And you could consider this is like the last frontier, the major frontier on earth that by Srila Prabhupada's grace, it was felt clearly somehow that this was the time to do this. And so I think all the book distributors know about this because we raised the book points for Arabic because we thought the devotees needed an incentive to get over any fear they might have had. But now it's actually moving very nicely. In fact, we're moving into a second language, Farsi. Maybe you could show, I don't know which book you're looking at. Yes, this is a unique cover. Actually, the baby's eye is actually an Iranian baby, the eye of an Iranian child. And the old man's eye is a grandfather from Iran. And you can see a bridge going up between them, and Krishna's at the top there. And this is actually beyond birth and death. And by actually putting the specific eyes of the culture, it helps them to relate better. And what's the next one? Yes, the Bhagavad Gita. It's interesting that the Arabic Bhagavad Gita is one color. It's almost like the English version, but this one could be full color because there is a connection between the Iranian people and ancient India in the Zoroastrian religion, etc. And I'm almost done. What's the next one? Yes, this is the perfection of yoga in Farsi. And the next one must be it's perfect questions, perfect answers. In the Arabic version, it's actually showing a desert in the Middle East. But for Farsi, we can use the same one. So this is actually a pilgrim walking to Gomukh, the source of the Ganges. Perfect questions, perfect answers. So this is all Prabhupada's blessing to try and approach people that we may have previously thought it was impossible to approach. But everyone is a devotee ultimately in their hearts. And the experience is the opposite. The devotees are experiencing amazing happiness when they do this, which has something to do with Srila Prabhupada himself said that anyone who distributes books in these languages, Middle East, he takes the dust from their feet and puts it on his head, which is a very, very special type of blessing that at least I've never heard was given to anything else. And this is what I share with the book distributors around the world. And this enlivens them, very much. It's almost like there's a war between the Germany and France. But unlike World War II, this is for domination in Arabic book distribution. So, and also now it will be Farsi book distribution. So all glories to Srila Prabhupada who made all this happen, and it's just the beginning. Srila Prabhupada ki!
Hare Krishna.
Hare
BBT
Krishna.
Far East, Middle East ki jai. Juta Karma Prabhu. Before you start, if there are any ladies, especially senior proper disciple ladies that are not here right now but can hear me, like in the kitchen maybe, please consider coming and offering an homage to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
So this is a continuation of a verse offering I made to Srila Prabhupada last year on his appearance day. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept this offering in primitive verse where I've ended each line for better or worse with words ending in the syllable tor, without repeating any I've used before. In last year's offering, you may recall, I used many, but not all. So today I beg your grace divine, hear my Torah verses just one more time. You crossed the ocean on the Jaladuta freighter. On the world stage you move like an actor in a theater. Of your students, you are the wise educator. Of my future, you are the true prognosticator. Of Kali Yuga's captives, you are the emancipator. You are never a mundane mental speculator. May I follow your order, not be an impersonator. You show us how a leader should be a delegator. You told us of Gajendra and the alligator. Of Krishna's form, you are the careful decorator. Of Krishna's pastimes, you are always a spectator. And therefore you are fit to be their narrator. Of my place in devotional service, you are the allocator. Of my anarthas, you are the attentive devastator. Of my lost love for Krishna, you are the excavator. Of you or your words, may I never be a deprecator. Of my tiniest service, you are the appreciator. Of my desire to serve Krishna, you are the stimulator. To your first followers, you brought japatis like a waiter. Of the successful disciple, you are the congratulator. Of truth and illusion, you are the separator. Of Maya's realm, you are the heroic infiltrator. In matters of finance, you are a most careful calculator. For my misbehavior, you are the stern remonstrator. For my shortcomings in service, you are the compensator. Of my armor of false ego, you are the penetrator. As a child, you rode with your friend Moti in a perambulator. Of this planet, you have been the boldest circumnavigator. So many times your mission took you across the earth's equator. In Krishna Lila, you are an eternal participator. Of the essence of devotion, you are the concentrator. Of disparate disciples, you are the integrator. For the best of material, for the heat of material desire, you are the cooling refrigerator. Your behavior is exemplary for every fortunate observator. Of the Lord's mercy, you are the patient anticipator. Of my faults, you are the watchful tabulator. Of the quality of my service, you are the evaluator. Of my tendency to deviate, you are the inhibitor. Of failing in my vows, you are the prohibitor. To your movement's progress, may I always be a contributor. Of the qualities of a devotee, you are the exhibitor. Of my level of advancement, you are the true estimator. You hunt down my anarthas like a prowling predator. Of the ranks of devotees, you are the populator. Of Krishna's existence, you are the expert postulator. Of the bomb of pure bhakti, you are the detonator. Please explode my ignorance and leave a big crater. Filled with your divine, merciful favor, make me a God lover instead of a God hater. Your servant, Judah Karma Das.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Judah Karma Prabhu. Maheshwara Prabhu.
Namam Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pacharane Nivashesha Sanyavati Pashkata Deshtarne dear Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. Bear with me for a couple minutes because my glorification of Prabhupada is going to come at the end of this little story that I want to share with you. And the story is, when I first came to Ojai, I had this conception. I think a lot of people know that in Ojai, I refer to it as the California version of Sedona, because we got every New Age thing going on in Ojai you could possibly imagine. And I thought that that would be good, because I had the impression if you're in the New Age, well then you're one step away of becoming a devotee. But actually it says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada translates the verse about Shankaracharya. He says, if you take up the Mayavadi impersonalism of Shankaracharya, your spiritual life is doomed. And that's what most of these New Age organizations have done. And Prabhupada came here to save us from Nivrashesha Sunyavadi. So after spending 20 years pounding my head against the wall trying to break through to some of these people, I figured, okay, let's go a different route. And that different route made me realize, because we recognize, and Prabhupada repeated many, many times, that we accept anybody who's reaching out to God. We're not so concerned. If they're ready for Krishna consciousness, fine. But if there's some other tradition, then he encouraged them, okay, follow that tradition. And if you're really sincere, it'll bring you to Krishna consciousness. So I said, okay, instead of trying to deal with all these impersonalists, maybe we need to go for the, neophyte devotees, which would be the other traditions. So this kind of opened the door for me to start visiting with some of the other religious institutions in Ojai, which are churches and synagogues and that sort of thing. And actually we've been doing that. My wife and I have been doing that for the last year. And it's a little bit daring maybe, and you think, well, how is that going to work out? But what it's done is it's led us to meet the ministers, meet the congregation, and eventually led us to places where they talk about God the way they know how to talk about God, which is a little hard to sometimes bear with, but they are actually expressing their devotion to God in the way that they understand it. And what that's done is it's opened up the doors, especially if you go to a Bible study or something, and we find out what's really going on in the hearts and the minds of these people in these other traditions. And believe it or not, we've had people who are very high positions in these other organizations say things like, well, I'm not even so convinced the Bible is the Word of God, because there's so many conundrums in there, and we all know, I don't have to go through them all, we all have some sense of that, that's why we're here. But it's really revealing that these are the leaders and high people in these different institutions. And it even got to a point where somebody actually said, I don't even know if there is a God. I mean, I think of God as a social, institution that we all kind of agree with so we don't kill each other. But as far as understanding God or having any real context to who he is, and certainly the concept of a personal God, was completely beyond his ability to grasp, which led me to think more and more. And I think some of us are very aware of Mother Teresa, who was in Calcutta for many years, and she died in 1997. And of course, she got a great reception in India. But, and then the Catholic Church ordained her as a saint. And then her biography came out in 2007, 10 years later, and in her biography it was revealed that she had all sorts of dark nights of the soul and wasn't even sure if God existed after basically spending her whole life trying to heal the poor and deal with the impoverished people in Calcutta. And there was in the 1500s, there was a great St. John of the Cross wrote a story called Dark Night of the Soul, where he was also saying, I don't even know if God exists. I'm having some real dark clouds. This created a real problem for the Catholic Church. Well, how can we have a saint who is basically admitting she doesn't even know that God exists, or she's not sure he exists? So what they're talking about is Kanishta Adhikari, somebody who's practicing, but when you push their faith, it's like, well, maybe it's not as strong as they're making it look. And so, but then how do you reconcile that? You reconcile that with, well, actually it's good that they're admitting they have some doubts, because then all of you, you're not saints, you might have doubts too. So keep pushing on. And it sort of makes sense But this is where my glorification of Prabhupada comes in. Because I was thinking about it, and we don't have that problem. I mean, all the way back, as far as you want to go, or let's just start with the 6 Goswamis. Does anybody think the 6 Goswamis were even hesitating about the concept of a personal God? Or look at our whole lineage, our whole parampara system. Every one of them, all the way down the line to Bhaktivinoda Thakur and the Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and of course Srila Prabhupada. Does anybody in here think that for even one moment Prabhupada had any doubt who Krishna was and what his qualities were? And that's what we were attracted to. He wasn't a Kanishta-adhikari, he was an Uttama-adhikari. And these sort of things are the realizations that you have when you get out there and start poking around a little bit. And I know I'm speaking for myself. Sometimes I just take for granted all the incredibly magnanimous qualities that Srila Prabhupada has, and just, oh yeah, I'm a disciple of Prabhupada. But actually, in this case, it's really overwhelming. We don't really stop and think about it, but there's so many people, and this is, of course, why we have book distributors out there, what our whole mission is about. Prabhupada came, we chanted every day, Nivar Shesha Sunyavadi, to go out there and knock on the doors, even in these other religious institutions, and say, look, you may not admit it, and you're putting on a good show, but a lot of the people in these other institutions are not even convinced about the fact that there is actually a personal God. And that's what Srila Prabhupada gave us. And that's my tribute. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maheshwar Prabhu. Bhargava Prabhu. Now we're at 13 minutes after 12. Yeah, 13 minutes after 11. 11:45 sharp. We have to stop because Pushpanjali and then noon arti. So please keep it from here on out a little bit tighter.
Okay, you set it up then. Just okay.
5 minutes, 6 minutes max.
All right, so my name is Bhargava Das. I was a BBT photographer from 1970 to 1980 and did a lot of work on the Chaitanya Charitamrita and the BTG. I got to travel with Prabhupada in Europe, in India, Africa, and I'll just try to pass some of the knowledge on. One of the things he considered all his students, even the GBCs. I remember he sat them down one day, he made me put my camera down, and he said, if you don't follow, then all you have is the trouble you went through to get the knowledge. And he could be very kind, as Siddhanta gave a really nice talk. And he emphasized the hearing of the pastimes, because what Prabhupada wanted us to do was to love Krishna, and that's why he published all those books. And he had more books he wanted to do. We're on a walk, and he wanted to do the Padma Purana next. But I'll give you, we're on another walk in Paris, and Prabhupada turned and faced the devotees. He said, I want you all to become Krishna-conscious philosophers and defeat these rascal scientists and philosophers. And he was very kind to me. I sometimes he'd ask stupid questions just to get a little attention, you know. So some lady had come to the New York temple to write a story about the devotees. She fell in love with Sankirtan, she loved it. And then when she finally wrote her article, Judge Oida comes up to me and says, well, she said, well, there was one devotee who was more interested in my camera than in me. So I got accused of being that devotee, even though I wasn't the devotee. So I felt guilty, I don't know why. And I brought it up to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, sometimes I preach nicely and sometimes I don't. When I don't, will the person still come to Krishna? Obvious answer, but Prabhupada said yes. And then he started to answer that question on a multi-level. And he gave the example of the pond. And when the pond becomes agitated, the mud comes up and removes the clarity of the pond. So the example is when your senses are not controlled, then the mud comes up and your intelligence and mind are covered. And then he went deeper, and he said, so there are two kinds of, this I felt like he was telling my future, and he said, so there are two kinds of cities. Sometimes someone follows all the rules and regulations of devotional service, and by the mercy of Krishna, he may become perfect. And then he said, sometimes someone's not able to follow all the rules and regulations of devotional service, but he has an overwhelming desire to perform some great service for Krishna. And then he said, and by the mercy of Krishna, he may also become perfect. So both kinds are dependent on the mercy of Krishna. Then he gave a material example of that with Clive of India. Clive came to India as a ship's cabin boy with the British East India Company. And he became very influential in bringing big parts of India under the control of the British East India Company. And for that, he was knighted by the Queen. And so that was a material example of Kripa mercy, Kripa City rather. And Prabhupada kind of saw into my future. And so I was capable of doing the grand gesture. And there's a story out of the Tirupati tradition of a prince who brought a golden lotus necklace. It was a garland, actually. And they placed it on the deity, and the chain holding it together broke, and it fell to the ground. He had it repaired, and a second time it happened. And at the same time, these mud flowers would appear on the altar. So he was told by the deity, he said, I like your golden lotuses, but I like the mud flowers of our potter better. So he acknowledged both devotees, and the prince became curious, and he sent out men, who is this potter? And they discovered who the potter was, and the king and the prince himself went to observe it. And he saw that every day the potter would take some clay from the big pile of clay, and he'd make a little deity of Balaji, of Vishnu, and he'd put it aside. And then he'd make pots all day long. And at the end of the day, he would scrape the clay off his hands, and he'd make little lotus flowers, and he'd offer it to his clay deity. So that was the source of those clay flowers that mystically would appear on the altar. And then he saw a flower airplane land, and the potter and his wife suddenly got Vaikuntha bodies. And then Vishnu approached the prince and said, he said, you're very proud of being a prince, your royal line. You have to give this up, and this pride up, and bathe at this lake called Chandragiri, which is at Tirupati. And at the end of this life, you'll also go back to Godhead. So there are material examples of all kinds of devotees. And Prabhupada saw into my future that I was a grand gesture guy. So I made a video about Prabhupada, and I did a 6-hour series on the culture, because that's what Prabhupada asked for. And he was quite heavy with the leaders. For him, he didn't see them as anything special, and he demanded, their growth. Let's see, what else can I say about Prabhupada? So what he really wanted was for everyone to develop love for Krishna. And that's why the books were there, and he was very pleased when people were reading them. He didn't even let me go into his room. I said, Prabhupada, can I read your books? Personal copies he had just gotten from the press. And he would let me read his books. And he was just happy that people were reading his books. And the idea being that the only way you can develop love is to be exposed to the beautiful qualities of Krishna. And you have to find those qualities in the different books, not only Prabhupada's books, but in the other books by the Goswamis and even other Vaishnava traditions. Prabhupada quoted Jamunacharya, King Kulashekar. He opened up the South to me, and I got to understand who these people are, and they had amazing stories. And you get exposed, he exposed me to Vishnu and Lakshmi. how kind Lakshmi is. She's just not the money giver. She's a divine mother, and she cares so much about the devotees. She's so kind. She gets the feeling before Vishnu does about how a devotee's in trouble. So by hearing the different stories, one develops that love for Krishna. And my favorite was from the Govinda Lilamrita. And Mother Yasoda's worried about Krishna getting too skinny. Because, you know, any of the women have young boys, they know they'd rather play all day than come home even to eat. So she's worried that Krishna is getting too skinny, that his ribs are starting to show. So she decides, I'm just going to invite his friends over, and then maybe he'll eat more. So she invites his friends over. They show up for lunch. And then Mother Yasoda takes some food and puts it on Krishna's plate. Then she turns around to get another preparation. And meanwhile, Krishna takes it off his plate and puts it on his friend's plate. So, and Mother Yasoda turns and catches him. And she chants the Universal Mother's mantra. You know what that is? Krishna, you're killing me. They say it in Italian, they say it in Yiddish. All over mothers chant that. Anyway, I thought it's because Krishna was teasing his mother. As Prabhupada said, the mother gets great pleasure out of the naughtiness of her child because she's thinking, he may be naughty, but he's so good at it, he's so intelligent at it. So they get a joy out of that. But then there was a commentary by one of the other Goswamis, and it really revealed Krishna's mind. And the reason Krishna took the food off his plate and put it on his friend's plate, because he knew his friend really liked that preparation. So that really touched my heart, how kind Krishna is. Because so many religions put Krishna up on a pedestal, and he enjoys serving the devotees. That's why we exist. Anyway, Bhaktivinoda gave a very nice meditation, and he said, every day you should feel your love for Krishna is growing. And if you don't feel that love, then you should do an introspective, I'm getting a big hook, but he said every day you should do an introspective search and try to figure out what offense or what neglect I've done that stopped the growth of love. And then correct it to the point that you feel the love growing again. So it's about taking personal responsibility. Where's your heart? And the thing I tell everybody is take everything to Krishna. The good, the bad, the ugly of your life, share it with Krishna, because the worst thing you can do to somebody who loves you is to ignore them. What can be more painful for a mother or a father where the child never contacts them? So take everything to Krishna, even the craziness, even the embarrassing things. Carry on that dialogue. My old Jewish grandmother used to talk to God. And you girls, you like to talk. He's a good listener, right? We're not so good at it. We just like to fix things, guys. But Krishna's a good listener. So take everything to Krishna and acknowledge him every day in every way. We're not salvationists, so we go back to Godhead. No, Krishna's here. It's like radio waves. They're in the air. Krishna's here in every atom, between every atom and every living entity's heart. And Maya makes us forget it, but we got to struggle and we got to tolerate. Prabhupada used that word, tolerate, a lot. Anyway, I don't want to take too much time. So thank you for listening.
Hare Krishna. Murugendra Prabhu.
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Budlaya Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pushpanjali Nirviste Sasunivadi Paschachadi Satarni. Back in 1966, I started at Columbia University in New York, and I got really lonely, and I was depressed, and I realized that all the other students were similarly depressed, and some were looking for alternatives like through drugs or revolution or sex. The phrase back then was sex, drug, or revolution. So after trying all these things, realized that they didn't work. Unfortunately, Srila Prabhupada, the year before, had come to the United States. Otherwise, there was no alternative. People would just be depressed permanently. And that's a situation which maybe you can't realize now because there's so much Krishna consciousness and God consciousness, vegetarianism in America. But because Srila Prabhupada came, we actually had an alternative that was not existing before that time. In the United States, we don't have examples. And he came out of his own mercy, ordered by his own spiritual master, but he not only did what he was ordered, but he went way beyond that. And because of his efforts, then I was able to be relieved. And that's what I owe to Srila Prabhupada. Not only because of his books, but because he set up temples. Because I was reading his book, but nothing really happened. Until then I went to the temple. And then not just the temple, but the devotees. Because I met devotees and I realized there's something different about these people, that they're elevated. And then, it wasn't just that, there was prasadam. And I was thinking, for some reason, there's something special going on here. The first I had was milk with just some kind of bananas. So it wasn't just one thing. Sometimes in different kind of traditions, they'd have just philosophy. But here, Srila Prabhupada brought the whole package. And if you couldn't get attracted in one way, you were attracted another way. So some people on a kind of intellect, I thought I was an intellectual scholar, so I was concentrating on reading books. But that actually didn't complete everything. So because of the personal relationship with devotees, and then I linked up, Bhagavad Gita has something to do with this chanting. So then there was the chanting, which initially I thought was a nice thing, but I wasn't really attracted to. But then I tried the prasadam and tried the chanting. I said, boy, I like this, maybe I'll try something else. So then I helped at the temple a little bit, did some service. Of course, this was delayed because I was going to college, and devotees that I met, every once in a while I'd meet them either downtown or sometimes they'd come up to the campus. And one devotee, I said, well, what can I do? And he said, well, just get your degree and open up a temple here at Columbia University. And I'm thinking, this is kind of crazy. I don't know anything. And this devotee is saying, open up a center here at the college. So, of course, it was so ridiculous an idea, I didn't take it. But the point is, I started doing certain things, and then because of that, I said, hey, this is good. Like the prasadam, that's good. And talking to devotees is good, and reading the books is good. I'll do something else. So because of that, Srila Prabhupada sort of winded it up. It's like when you catch a fish and you may be struggling, but he sort of wind me up, and even though I'm thinking at a certain point, I'm God, and I advertise that, he's still reeling me in. And then more and more, I just ended up getting closer and closer to devotees, and ended up out at Berkeley, and hanging around the temple every day practically. And because of that, I was thinking, I'm hanging around the temple. What I want to do here is have lunch. And I'm fooling them that I just want to come here, but I only want lunch, because there was this cook, Srimati, and she was cooking the maha every day, because the devotees were going to San Francisco to chant along with the San Francisco devotees. So if I came to the temple, it was just me and her, and we're splitting the whole maha. And I'm thinking I'm making out like a thief here. So, but then I'd hang out at the campus because I thought I was some kind of elevated person. We were in front of the student union discussing what we're teaching, or some kind of bogus But more and more I got, Srila Prabhupada caught me up. And then gradually I went to the temple. I was going there every day. And finally, after a while, Yashodanandan, who was the temple president, he said, well, you've been coming around, maybe you could do something else. And he was thinking about getting money from me. So while he was talking about, we can do some, I interrupted. I said, okay, I'll join. He didn't ask me to join, but I was thinking, oh, well, he's asking me. Nobody ever asked me, so I'll do it. But that's the first thing in solicitation we learned because we were distributing books at the airport. The first thing you learn in how to get money and how to distribute a book, the devotees know, at least you got to ask. If you don't ask, not many people are just going to throw money at you. So he finally asked, so then I joined. That was after a whole year. So my time is up, but I appreciated all the other devotees speaking, so I want to hear some more from them.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mrigenja Prabhu. Govindadat Prabhu. 5 minutes max.
It's a very nice publication. It's called Srila Prabhupada's Tributes. And they encourage every Srila Prabhupada, disciple of Srila Prabhupada to contribute. And it's done out of England, and they ship it from England, cost-free. And it's very nice. They printed 470 copies. Anyway, Krishna's kindness, they sent me a copy. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your lotus feet, which graced this earthly planet. But only spread transcendental benedictions beyond earthly limits. As time passes, my appreciation for your steadfast dedication for pleasing your spiritual master becomes more and more profound. Yasha deve prabhaktir yata deve tathakaro tashaite katitaryata prakashante mahatmanam. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. You are that special soul, Srila Prabhupada, who totally imbibed all Vedic knowledge through body, mind, and soul. You met all obstacles as challenges to your mission. You met all obstacles, challenges to your mission as inspirations. You saw losing a battle as an inspiration to win the war. When an endeavor would fail, you would immediately rise with renewed strength. You met every day as a new opportunity to push forward Lord Chaitanya's glories. You struggled, you knew loss, you suffered, but you always rebounded with new enthusiasm as you were convinced of success because you had implicit faith in the orders of your spiritual master. And you always gave credit to His Divine Grace, Srimad Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. By showing this amazingly miraculous example to us, you have made us very endeared to you. And you explained that the only way to possibly begin to repay our debt to you is through becoming Krishna conscious ourselves and by trying to give Krishna consciousness to the fallen, conditioned souls. In my humble attempt, Srila Prabhupada, I had the most wonderful Krishna conscious experience in my life last summer when I was allowed to present the Krishna Lunch program at UCLA. I could understand how pleased you were as many students, faculties and professors and other guests were able to taste and enjoy Krishna Prasadam. Hear the holy name and receive your books. And everyone reciprocated wonderfully by donating, by explaining how the prasadam made them feel wonderful, and in general, praising Krishna consciousness and Krishna lunch. So currently we're challenged by the university, but we pray for the mercy of all the acharyas, the Goswamis, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna, to be able to resume soon. We will fight with all resources available to win the right to be able to give Krishna consciousness in this way at the so-called higher educational facilities. You were totally correct and justified to call those places slaughterhouses because there's no Krishna consciousness offered or encouraged. We have a deep understanding that this Krishna Lunch program will be another very magnanimous preaching program to help revive Krishna consciousness in America. Every family in the world is brainwashed to send their child to college. Otherwise their child will be a loser, a nobody, a failure, a dropout, etc. So we were at the university greeting everyone with Krishna Lunch. And Krishna Lunch is trying to expose this bogus propaganda through the ecstatic programs you taught us as the real way to defeat Maya in this Kali Yuga age. Book distribution, Sankirtan, and blessed sacred Krishna Prasadam. I pray to you, Srila Prabhupada, that I may have the intelligence to make this program successful. And be able to start more of these programs and everything for the glorification of you and Lord Krishna. The more the conditioned souls learn about you and Krishna consciousness, the more they will embrace this rare opportunity. They have been waiting since time immemorial, wandering hopelessly in bewilderment in this material world, and now being given the opportunity of Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. I beg to remain your servant in Lord Chaitanya's army. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Govinda Prabhu. Mother Balai?
Could I share one story? Short story.
No, Balai has to have her say.
Okay, next time.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Balai, please make your way to the mic quickly. We're running out of time. It's now 11:38, and at 11:45 sharp, we have to begin the Pushpanjali. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dear Srila Prabhupada, I offer my most humble obeisances at your divine lotus feet. You are always situated in the transcendental abode of Lord Sri Krishna, but agreed to come to this earthly planet in order to bestow your causeless mercy on the conditioned living entities. Without your mercy, it is not possible to become free from Maya's clutches and return to our original spiritual lives of loving service to Lord Krishna in the spiritual world. You told us that without encouragement, one cannot go on. I constantly find encouragement from you in your instructions in your sublime books, in rendering devotional service, in associating with the devotees, and also simply by thinking of you. You are also encouraged by your disciples, so it is a reciprocal loving exchange. Thank you for ISKCON. Thank you for the temples, which are spiritual oases all over the world. Thank you for all the books you translated. By reading them, we are associating with you. I pray to always be engaged in service to you. Thank you for your unfathomable, causeless mercy. Thank you for picking me up out of the gutter and giving me a chance to render some service to you. You have bestowed causeless mercy upon this undeserving soul. I pray to Lord Sri Krishna to please keep me at your lotus feet so that I may serve you eternally. You have given us a glimpse into the spiritual world. One of my favorite pastimes that you told us is Narada Muni's visiting Lord Narayana and asking about the fate of the Brahmana and the cobbler. Narada Muni told the cobbler that Narayana was pushing one elephant through the eye of a needle. Oh, the cobbler began to cry, "Oh, my Lord is wonderful. He can do anything." So Narada Muni inquired,
So do you believe that the Lord can push one elephant through the holes of a needle? Oh, why not? I must believe. Then what is your reason? Oh, my reason? I am sitting under this banyan tree, and so many fruits are falling daily, and in each fruit there are thousands of seeds, and in each seed there is a tree. If in a small seed there can be a big tree like that, is it very impossible to accept that Krishna is putting one elephant through the holes of a needle? He has kept such a nice tree in the seed. Srila Prabhupada, by your causeless mercy, you have given us the same faith in your instructions, in Lord Sri Krishna, and in the process of Krishna consciousness. In a letter to me you wrote, you very rightly say that we cannot really give anything to Krishna because everything belongs to him already. Therefore, the energy which we have received from Krishna should be utilized in Krishna's service. I pray to always use my energy in your service. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sachitana Prabhu has been waiting. We have 2 minutes if you can say something quickly. No? Okay, well, I'll just wrap up. Thank you very much for coming. All this morning we've been hearing glorification of Srila Prabhupada. So I'll tell a short story. Chirika Maharaj actually told a story. It happened to him. He was in London with Prabhupada, and they went to an event or a gathering where other people spoke, non-devotees, Mayavadis, etc. And in the end, Prabhupada delivered Krishna consciousness like he always does, forcefully. So the next day when Chirika Maharaj was giving his massage, giving Prabhupada massage, he was glorifying Prabhupada. Prabhupada, last night you were like a boxer. You were, really giving it to them. So Prabhupada, listened and he appreciated, but he said, the best way to glorify the spiritual master is to learn to preach the way the spiritual master preaches. So all of us should take that to heart. We are here to glorify Prabhupada. If we really want to glorify Prabhupada, we have to preach the way Prabhupada preached. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So now we will have the Pushpanjali. Everybody can stand. We'll pass flowers around. And Naikama Prabhu will lead us in the Mangala Charana. Hare Krishna.
As soon as the offerings are removed, we're going to ask everyone, please come up close to Srila Prabhupada's Vyasasana and make sure you grab enough flowers to make 3 offerings. No, I have. No. Thank you very much. Make sure you get enough flowers, please. Gopal, can you play Mridanga too? When Kirtan? Thank you. Okay. Please repeat. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksur Unmilitam Jaina Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvitam Savarutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishavitang Sangscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Tinamine Srivashabhanavi Devi Daitaya Vibhavdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuyojjvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktira Shri Gaura Karana Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Vidudhapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gorakishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralamba Rasambode Padambujaya Te Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachir Ananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumes Tvam Nirdheshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhoma Sri Jagannataya Te Namaha Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Maha Vadhanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Manda Matergati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Brindaranya Kalpa Drumada Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prestalivi Sivyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambhi Avanksivata Tatastitaha Karshan Venu Svanar Gopir Gopinata Shriyestunaha Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hare Priye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Deshatarine Isha Pushpanjali Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastatya Deshatarine Isha Pushpanjali Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastatya Deshatarine Isha Pushpanjali Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Samsara Ravanaralila Loka Tanaya Karunya Gana Ganata. Prapta Sakaya Nagunaravasa Vande Guru Sri Charanaravinda. Mahaprabhu Kirtananita Gita Vaditramajan Manazora Zaina. Romanchakam Pasrutarangavajo Vande Guru Sri Charanaravinda. 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 Vigrahara Dharanityanana Sringarataman Dhiramaganado. Yuktasya Bhaktam Shaniyajatopi Vande Guru Sri Charanaravinda. Chaturvira Sri Bhagava Prasadan Swadhana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sanghan. Kripaiva Triptrin Bhajatak Sadaiva. Vande Guru Sri Charanaravinda. Vande Guru Sri Charanaravinda. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Radhika Madhavyurabhara Madhu Jalila Gunarupanamna Vateksana Sadhana Lolubhasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam.
Would you like to move the mic a little forward?
No, let the devotees. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Kunja Juno Rati Kaliserai Yayalu Yukti Rapekshaniya Tatratte Dakshan Ativalavasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Shadharite Asamasta Shastre Uktastata Vadyataiva Sadvi Into Prabhurya Piyarivatasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. 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 Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasado Yasya Prasadam Nagati Gatopi Yasya Prasadam Bhagavat Prasado Yasya Prasadam Nagati Gatopi Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Charanaravinda. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Vakati Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Vakati Sadma. Bandon mue savadhanam mate. Bandon mue savadhanam mate. Jahara Vrasa Devai Evavatari Yada. Jahara Vrasa Devai Evavatari Yada. Krishna prapti hoy jam hoite. Krishna prapti hoy jam hoite. Guru Mukha Padma Bhakya Chite Te Koriyaya. Guru Mukha Padma Bhakya Chite Te Koriyaya. Anakori homane asha. Aranakori homane asha. Charane rate aise utama gate. Shri Guru Charane rate aise utama gate. Prasade Bure Sarvam Asha. Jai Prasade Bure Sarvam Asha. Chakudana Dilo de Jane Jane Prabhu se Chakudana Dilo de Jane Jane Prabhu se Devya Jnani Devrakam Sito Devya Jnani Devrakam Sito Preme Bhakti Jaite Avidya Vinasha Jate Preme Bhakti Jaite Avidya Vinasha Jate Gai Jaharacha Rito Gai Jaharacha Rito Adi Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhamaja Narabandhu Sri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhamaja Narabandhu Lokanath Lokera Devana Hey Prabhupada Lokera Devana Ah Prabhu Korodoi Dehomare Varachaya Ah Prabhu Korodoi Dehomare Varachaya Vijas Gosukre Bhuvana Jai Vijas Gosukre Bhuvana Gila Prabhupada Dida Pavana Jai Prabhupada Dida Pavana Sri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhamaja Narabandhu Sri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhamaja Narabandhu Jai Lokanath Lokera Devana Srila Prabhupada Lokera Devana Jaha Prabhu Korodaya Dehamare Vanachaya Prabhu Korodaya Dehamare Vanachaya Prabhu Korodaya Dehamare Vanachaya Jai Prabhu Korodaya Dehamare Vanachaya Jai Prabhupada Dida Pavana Jai Prabhupada Dida Pavana Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Gaur Haribo, 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 Gaur Haribo. Jai Gaur Haribo, 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 Gaur Haribo. Jai Gaur Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. 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 Jai Gaur Haribo, 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 Gaur Haribo. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastattare Shatarine.
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Praschatya Deshatarine. Namaste. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine. Nama Om Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Praschatya Deshatarine. Bolo Namaste. Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ha! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare